Okay.
Audio.
Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah. Big Mama's house. Welcome to Big Mama's house. Big Mama's house. Yeah.
Welcome back to Big Mama's house, y'all. It is I, Mama, here to hopefully entertain you with some of something it's been on my mind, okay? And I want to preface this, or if you're fancy, preface this episode with um, this episode was inspired by Katie Rabbit Brown, the fifth wife of Cody Brown. You can find her at her amazing YouTube channel, Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime. She has been reviewing the Sister Wives book, Becoming Sister Wives, the story of an unconventional marriage. Um, and I read this book years ago, before they moved to Flagstaff, before everything really, really started going to crap in a handbag, if you know what I mean. Um, I I'm just I was amazed because I had forgotten between reading the book and what we've learned since then just how big of a load of bullshit this book is. Um, I am not as family friendly as Katie Rabbit Brown is over at Down the Rabbit Hole at Bedtime. Um, I'm just not. I will give you a more real, not real, but um adult language version of that. Um, yeah, y'all know me. I don't mince a lot of words. But I gotta tell you, she's been doing this book and it really brought back like, man, I would really like to reread that. So I dug it out and I didn't even get past the prologue, y'all. I couldn't. There was just too many bald faced that lies and half truths and misconceptions that they did on purpose, of course. Everybody wants to look good and tell the good side of the story, but I couldn't even get past the prologue. I couldn't do it, and I had so many thoughts that I had to get them out of my head so that I could move on to chapter 1. Um, First of all, the dedication at the very beginning of the book, it says, "To all those who lived and loved before us in secrecy, unable to acknowledge their love, marriages, and life publicly, we dedicate our story to you." Now, for the families who, obviously weren't, having the child brides and the forced marriages and the abuse and that kind of thing, um, the reason I first started watching the show is because I was fascinated with the psychology and the thought process and you know me, I love the whys. Okay. I'm all about why. And so that's when I first started watching the show. And I was, because I don't really care one way or the other what your religion is, unless you're a Satanist. And then, we might have to have a chat and understand each other a little bit better. Um, but I don't care. Your God is my God. We just have different ways of getting to our heaven, in my opinion. Um, but I I think initially, and I'm gonna give them some credit here because that dedication kind of moved me. And it made me wonder, maybe their intentions really were good at the beginning. Now, don't get me wrong. I know for a fact that Cody Brown was just looking for a paycheck. Okay. That's why they had the show after the documentary in the book and the everything else that's come since then. It's all about to make a buck. And hey, isn't that what we're all about? Isn't that why we're all here? Why we all get up and do our 9 to 5 that sucks and we hate it, but we go because we got bills to pay? Sure. And everybody wants to get rich quick, right? Like that's why we play the lottery and, make up, awesome channels, and entertaining people with who might come and, support my channel. Yay. Um, but I wonder, I'm hoping and I'm trying to get them some credit here that their intentions were super good, because it is not right, in my opinion, if you are all consenting adults and no one's being abused, and you love more than one woman and you want to spiritually marry them or whatever, that is no different in my mind than a man having a mistress and having a kid with her or several kids with her, and just never telling the other woman about each other. Well, supposedly the mistress would know, but still, you know what I mean. It's like, I just can't. I couldn't share a man. That's me. I'm very selfish. I don't like to share my toys. That's how I am. But this, again, the psychology of it is what drew me in. Um, and this book was advertised as uncensored and unedited and bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. We know better now, okay? So I'm throwing a lot of shade at the way it was presented to people. Um, Especially now that the truth has come out. Um, yeah. So it's been a while, like I said, since I had read this, and so I was just kind of thinking, okay, this will be a good little quick read. Just read go over it real quick so I can, stay, up with, Katie Rabbit Brown over it down the rabbit hole at bedtime, who might come on my show, I'm hoping. Um, but then like I said, the prologue, man, and it was written by Cody, okay. And here's where my brain went down my own little rabbit hole, okay. The show started or aired in the fall of 2010. The book that I'm currently holding in my hot little hands came out in the spring of 2013. Now, in the realm of books, okay, especially when they're being written by 5 different people, and you have to be able to mesh them and all that kind of good stuff, they must have started writing this book almost immediately upon either doing the documentary or starting on the show, because that's a pretty quick turnaround in the literary world, I'm thinking. um yeah, it makes me kind of give a, a bit of a as I'm looking at that. um and it's the prologue is written. It says he's sitting in the Beverly Hills Hilton, waiting for the what is it called? The Television Critics Association press tour to promote the show when it first came out. Um, but okay, stay with me, people. The show started fall 2010, right? So this press junket would have been sometime probably that summer ish, okay? And he wrote the prologue while he was doing that press tour to the book that came out in 2013. So there's a little bit of proof for you that I'm not quite crazy and that he had been planning this, and you know the book was in the works almost immediately, like I said, after the documentary. So to me, that again, a little suspect, a little sus. I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay. The first okay, the second sentence in the prologue, written by Cody Brown. He says, I'm a small town boy, not some Hollywood superstar. Well, Cody Brown, as we've all learned, that's exactly what you think you are. You think you're a Hollywood superstar and that people should be amazed at, being around you or being in your presence or whatever. Dude, you're a dude with a lot of wives and a lot of kids. Yes, it's interesting. Again, psychologically fascinating. Please ignore my puppers barking in the background. They're hearing neighbors coming home from work, and it's all exciting. Um, but yeah, I don't know, y'all. It gets me the way he, I'm not some Hollywood superstar, but I'm sitting in the Hilton Hotel. The first and second sentences of the book, y'all. Okay, so he's obviously trying to let you know that, oh, he is a Hollywood superstar. Okay, page 2 of the prologue. He says, this is one paragraph. I'm going to read it to you and then we're going to talk about it. I know that I'm putting my family at risk. My wives and I could lose our jobs. Our children could be tormented at school. But I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of living like a second-class citizen. I'm tired of lying about my life. I have a wonderful family, a perfectly happy family with beautiful wives and beautiful children. I don't want us to live the rest of our days in fear. I am about to ask America to accept us. In that short paragraph, 9 eyes. So, can you see where, even back then, it was me, and that's the focus of his entire thought process. And when you have 4 wives and at that time 17 children, I think it was, probably 16 because Truly hadn't been born yet, um, it stops being about you. I don't care who you are, how many kids you have. As soon as you have the first one, your life is not yours anymore, not for a while, because that child that you created and brought in this world requires what they require. And that, a lot of time, as a parent, takes everything you got. And there's not a lot left over for everything else. But being a man who has 17 or at that time 16 children and doesn't really do anything or not a whole lot. I mean, I guess it's easy to just think about the I, and the me. But let's discuss a couple sentences in that paragraph, y'all. First sentence, I know I'm putting my family at risk. Well, that's a bold statement. And yes, you were. And I understand, believe me, I don't want anyone having to live in fear, whether you're gay, trans, freaking fundamental Mormon, an alien from outer space. Everyone should be able to be free to be who they are. Okay? Again, as long as you're not hurting anyone else physically, emotionally, spiritually, all that stuff. Um, he acknowledges putting his family at risk, and that to me, again, I think he just saw the dollar signs, and that wiped away all the concerns. Um, because he's like, I know this, I know what I'm doing, but you know, and again, I'm trying to think kindly to what they were then and maybe not so much now, because I understand that in 15 years people change. You know what I mean? I know I'm not the same person I was 15 years ago. I'm guaranteeing most of you out there are not the same people you were 15 years ago. However, I don't think that the growth has been for the better in Cody Brown's case. He's still very much self-centered and selfish, and it's all about me and my feelings and my wants and why. It bothers me. Um, and he says, I have a wonderful family, a perfectly happy family with beautiful wives. Well, we're starting to realize now that even then, they were not perfectly happy. I don't know if he and Christine had a sexual relationship beyond truly being conceived. I don't know if he and Mary had a sexual relationship at that time. I know they were having a lot of issues with their marriage. She was not happy. I think she was looking for a way out. And me personally, I'm just going to put this out there. I think Robin was her gift to Cody to get his attention on something new and shiny so that she could ease on out the door. My opinion. I'm just saying. Yeah. And do I blame someone for wanting to leave an unhappy marriage, regardless of their religious beliefs? Absolutely. Do what you gotta do, man. Everyone should be happy. Everyone has the right to the pursuit of happiness. So I don't blame her for that. Um, but the thing that gets me is we know it's not a perfectly happy family, and he says his wives are beautiful. But he goes on later in the book. Here's a bit of a spoiler for y'all. He makes it very clear that he's not really sexually attracted to Christine, and that he only ever had relations with her in order to produce children. And I'm kind of thinking he felt the same way about Janelle. Maybe not. Again, I'm not in their bedroom. I'm not in their heads, but it doesn't seem like he was having a real good time with any of the wives at that point. Well, maybe Janelle. She's always been kind of go with the flow, but okay. On to page 3. Sorry. Um, they go on to talk about the FLDS church and the abuses and things like that. And he says that's just a small subset of our population. I don't know about that. Unless there are a lot more happy polygamous families that come forward or come, like show that there are other, like, quote unquote, more normal families that, have multiple wives and lots of children, but get along and, or at least can stand each other, kind of thing. Um, I'm pretty sure that the majority of the Mormon church is pretty much, or at least the fundamentalist church, is not a small subset. I don't know. And I'm not talking about the Mormon church itself. That's a whole different culty ball of wax. But I'm talking about the fundamentalist church. It's, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. Okay. It says, and I think this is also a bit of a fib. I don't know. Again, I'm not Mormon. I don't know any fundamentalist Mormons. But it says, we share a belief in the principle of celestial plural marriage. Okay, I'm down with that. It says, but in our faith, incest and spousal abuse are serious crimes, which, when discovered, result in immediate legal action. Uh-huh. Sure. So how did Warren Jeffs get to be as big as he was? And how did all these other guys, like 50-year-old men, marry like 14-year-old girls? And I'm sure there's a lot of abuse abounding with that because, these men think they're God. Or they're the God of their family or whatever it is. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a load of hooey. And he goes on to say, our sect is one of the more liberal branches of Mormon fundamentalism. Well, I guess so, because you're on TV and you get to make your own rules. I mean, what are they going to do? Be like, oh, no, he's not like us, even though he's out there trying to save our image and make everybody not hate us, I mean, they're not going to really disagree with him, especially whenever he's giving them really good PR. On page 4 of the prologue now, it says, although not every member of our faith enters into a plural marriage, we still believe that this is a crucial step in our personal spiritual development. So, if you are a fundamentalist and you believe that the only way to get to heaven, or to have your own personal heaven or your own universe or whatever it is, that you have to be married to multiple people, and I believe, and y'all can please correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, that you have to have at least 3 wives in order to be considered a celestial, heavenly, whatever. So if you can't have a plural marriage, then if like you truly believe that, it means that you don't get to have a heaven. So why wouldn't you? I mean, yeah, I'm confused. That sentence is very, it's like, yeah, there's, yeah. You're with me, right, guys? You feel what I'm putting out there? Okay. I like down on, but I didn't actually put this, but it caught my eye. It says, I'm not self-centered enough to entertain these thoughts. Cody Brown says that in a book, in writing. I'm not self-centered enough. Okay. Sure. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be mature, but sometimes it's like, it's a little bit silly. So I kind of take it that way because it's so ridiculous. A lie. Okay, page 5 of the prologue says, my wives and I have had to learn to be understanding, kind, compassionate, and patient. Huh. Well, according to their wives' own words in this book, not many people were kind or compassionate or understanding or patient, including you, Mr. Cody Brown. So, again, we've seen it on the show. It's not really like I'm throwing something out of left field here. It's no. And it says, it makes us confront our shortcomings and overcome them. We have to learn to handle our jealousy, contain our aggression. We have to check our selfishness. There is no room for ego in plural marriage. I, mm, I, oh God, y'all. Um, he keeps saying our, and he means their. They have to they have to confront their shortcomings and overcome them. They have to learn to handle their jealousy, contain their aggression, check their own selfishness. They don't get ego, because the only person who gets to have any of those things in that family is Cody Brown. And Lord knows, God, that man has enough ego for everybody. Yeah. And oh my, guys, sorry. I'm not trying to like mumble and stumble, but sometimes, like, even when I was reading it and like making notes here, I'm like, I don't even have words. How am I gonna explain to everybody in the world out there what this does to my brain? Because it kind of sets it on fire a little bit. Just a little bit. On to page 6. And he says, when I say I love each of my wives wholly, passionately, and eternally, I am telling the truth. Well, he admits in the book he doesn't find a Christian attractive. So how can he be passionate, truly passionate with her? He doesn't love them wholly because there are parts of him that he does not love. And I know this is a stupid trite saying, but when, I mean, personally, as a married person, you have to love everything about a person, even the things you hate, because you can't love a part of a person. If you can't accept someone for all of their faults and all of their, their attributes, that's not really love, in my opinion. You have to, and again, people grow and change and learn over years, and you mature together, and hopefully, everything falls into place. But you have to, I believe that a good marriage starts in truth and honesty and trust. And just from you get the prologue here, I think you guys are getting the idea that none of those things existed in their house, at least between the adults. And it's kind of weird. I can't believe how long we watched, at least I watched the show, and never realized just how screwed up it was. Because for me, that was a show of entertainment. I would watch it, turn it off, and not really think about it again. You know what I mean? It's not a thoughtful show most of the time. And you only get to see the parts that they want you to see, and they can kind of edit things and only show parts of conversations. And and again, I kind of think of that when I watch the show. I take it, some of it with a grain of salt, because again, it's fully edited. It's a quote unquote reality TV entertainment show. So it is for entertainment. They're not just out there, just with the truth and they're awesome trying to promote their family. It's that they're straight up lying to everyone to get to get where they are, and I don't think that's okay either. And in page 7, he goes on to say, I love them for different reasons, for their different strengths and their different passions and talents. I love them for their weaknesses and their humanity, but I don't love one more or less than the others. Okay, that's obviously not true. I mean, well, part of it is. I think he's always said, when it comes to Janelle, who I think is she and I are a lot alike. We're both more of the intelligent worker, except that I would rather be with my kids than work, but hey, I like using my brain though. And I don't think he loves their weaknesses or their humanity. I think he expects them to step up and be perfect and not bring any issues to him, because if there are issues, that's between them to settle, and that's that. And I don't believe that he didn't love one more or less than the other. How can you? I mean, at the time, he and Mary had um, been courting and been friends for a while. They knew each other. So he knew what he was getting into, I think. And it was just like, sometimes you're so quick to do something, you're not looking at the entire picture. And sure, when you're dating, you try to present yourself in the best light. But that's why you date for more than, 3 months, or 6 months. So you actually get to know a person and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's go on. I can't always pinpoint the moment I fell in love with each of my individual wives, and I don't always feel that love all the time, but the love is so deep, I can't imagine being without it. Well, if you don't feel the love all the time, you are sometimes without it, Mr. Cody Brown. I mean, that's what that mean. I mean, did someone not edit this for you and tell you that you're doing a lot of circular thought patterns in your sentences and contradicting yourself in the same sentence? I don't understand. Um, I don't always feel that love all the time. That right there is that's very, very telling. I think that might be the most important sentence in the entire book, in my opinion, but that's just me. Said, when Robin came into the family, she brought about an emotional honesty that required me to start dealing with things I'd avoided. That is a book I want to read. What were you avoiding? What was Robin so honest about that made you feel that all of a sudden, after being married for 20 years or whatever to 3 different women, that all of a sudden, oh my God, I had this emotional honesty? What? I don't know. Does anyone else understand it? If you can explain it to me, I'd be super grateful. Super grateful. Pardon me, guys. My allergies are kicking my butt today. On page 9, one sentence. My wives support one another. Okay, maybe when the kids were little. Okay, because, Christine was the babysitter, took care of everybody's kids. Janelle worked. Mary worked. But support as in, like, other than babysitting and small favors or whatever, like, hey, you're going to the store, can you grab me some onions? Or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, they don't, and they admit it. Straight up, they didn't, and they don't. It's crazy. And it says, if one of my wives chooses not to work in order to stay home and look after our kids, I make sure she is taken care of. I make sure she is taken care of. If another wife makes a bundle while her sister wife is looking after the kids, she will share her bounty. If someone has a windfall from tax returns or inheritance, then she usually shares a good portion of it. Although my wives are fiercely independent and entirely self-sufficient, they would never let anyone go without. We are a family of equals. Well, in that situation, it sounds like Mr. Cody Brown is winning because he's got, at that time, 3 wives and 16, almost 17 children, and they were entirely self-sufficient. He didn't have to do crap. They took care of the kids, they cleaned their own houses, they paid their own bills, and I'm sure he worked whenever and put it, and put into the family pot, I guess, but he didn't really have any legitimate financial responsibility to them because they were self-sufficient, and they had to be because he wasn't doing it. He didn't make enough to support all those people. Um, so to me, that's also very telling. Like, and it's not that he makes it not even sound like a choice. He goes, I will make sure she's looked after, but the sister wives will have other stuff for him, so I'm really kind of off the hook, aren't I? It bothers me. Family equals my ass. Okay. Since there is only one of me and 4 of them, I am often considered the patriarch. Unfortunately, this word has acquired a negative connotation these days. I'm appealed to on a regular basis simply because I'm the common denominator. I'm the basic element that my wives and children share. I'm a father to all the children and a husband to all my wives. Despite this, I rarely make unilateral decisions. If asked, I will choose the direction in which the train runs, but my wives are the ones who keep it on the track and running. They are the force behind our family. If he ever truly believed that, he forgot it years ago. Um, he treats them like employees, in my opinion, telling them what to do, expecting them just to like, he's like, that's your job. I'm the supervisor. I'm just here in case of trouble, kind of thing. And that's not a husband or a father. That's, again, a supervisor, someone who just comes in and makes some, decisions and boop, off I go. And it's not, I don't believe for a second that he didn't make unilateral decisions, because he's the one that unilaterally decided that they were moving to Las Vegas, and then he unilaterally decided they were moving to Flagstaff. So I don't those are pretty big damn decisions, okay? So yeah, I again, not true. And that is all as that okay, I'm over 30 minutes just on the prologue. So I am going to try to get chapter 1 gone through with all my notes and everything tonight and look it over, and then maybe if you guys are interested, um I will continue. And again, thank you to Katie Rabbit Brown, the fifth wife of Cody Brown, over at Down the Rabbit Hole at that time, for inspiring me to pull my book back out and go through this, because it is a very different read now than it was when I first bought the book years ago. So thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I really, really hope you come on my show and we can talk about Sister Wives and all that good stuff. But any of you guys, please go over and check her out. She's amazing. She's hilarious. Her satire is amazing. And yeah, you'll understand the Katie Rabbit Brown, the fifth wife of Cody Brown, if you go check her out. Okay, guys, I think that's it for tonight. My mind is completely blown just by the prologue of this book, and I hope you find it as fascinating and interesting as I do, to really kind of dig deep into the words that he says and the way that he does things, because I'm fascinated by the psychology of all these people. So, okay, guys, be safe out there. Buckle up, spay and neuter your pets, and use your turn signals. Bye.